Alrighty, and I could email you. I recorded class on Monday, so if you want to see that, this is what this is doing, recording the screen. So if you were not here Monday, let me know so I could email you that YouTube link. So in case you need to go back, see it again. All right. So 9.1, the rectangular coordinate system. So a couple of things for you to know is we're going to draw it out, but right now I will give you graphing paper. When we talk about a coordinate plane, it is composed of two axes. Does anybody know what are the two possible answers for those axes? X and Y. Which one is this one? X. This is your X axis. And this one is your Y axis. The intersection of your X and Y axis is known as the, very good. And this is also 0.00, because that's where it starts. Now your X's to this side are positives. Your X's to this side are negatives. Your Y's to the top are, and your Y's to the bottom are negatives. Very good. Now, it is also divided in 4 quadrants. Well, you know, because there's 4 pieces. Now, do you know which one's which one? They make the letter C. So we start with letter C here. So this is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. In quadrant 1, both your X and your Y are going to be positive numbers. And before I do that, ordered pairs consist of X, comma, Y. So the first one's going to be your X, your second one's going to be your Y. Positive, positive. Now, in quadrant 2, your X's are what? Your X over here is negative, but your Y's are positives. In quadrant 3, they're both what? Negative X's, negative Y's. And in quadrant 4, I have a positive X, but a negative Y. So right away, if I were to give you a point, 2, 3, positive 2, positive 3, they are in quadrant 1, somewhere in here. If I say negative 1, 3, negative, positive, so it should be somewhere here. So if you remember that, it should tell you. If not, you graph 1 by 1. You're going to be just fine. Now, that's just information we're going to use right now, but I just like to have it up on the top. This is a coordinate system. If I think of something else, we will look at it. Now, for the first few problems, they are going to ask, are the ordered pairs a solution to the equation? So example 1, are the ordered pairs a solution to the equation? So for this one, we're going to have equation x minus y equals to 4. we're going to call this problem 1 in there because we're going to have 2 so you can practice. Let's say I have a negative point, I don't know why I said negative, but it's 7.25, comma, 3.25. So this is an order paired, right? The first number represents who again? X. The second one represents Y. Easy. Now, they want to know, do these numbers, is this an actual answer for that? Well, what I have to do is replace this X with 7.25 minus your Y, which is 3.25, and see if it equals to 4. Is 7.25 minus 3.25 4? This is 4. So, yes, this is true. Now, can you check if this is a possible answer? Once again, this is your X. This is your Y. We're using the same equation. So this becomes 2 minus a negative 2 equals to 4. Minus and negative becomes a positive. So what's 2 plus 2? 4. Is 4 equal to 4? Yes. So that right there is also true. So they're going to give you an equation. They're going to give you, is this a solution? You check. If it's true, then boom. You're right. Second equation, let's try. Y equals 3/2 x minus 4. So y equals 3/2 x minus 4. The first one I want to try is 6, 0. Now once again, the 6 represents who? X, and the y is 0. So I have 0 equals to 3/2 times 6 minus 1. 0 equals, what's 3 times 6? 18 divided by 2? 9, right? 9 minus 4. What's 9 minus 4? 5. Is 0 equal to 5? No. So this is false. So is this a solution? So how did I get the 9?
Yes.
6 times 3? 18? It's like if just putting it over one help. Sorry. So we have 3 times 6 over 2 times 1. So this should have been 18 over 2, which is the 9. So try this one on your own. 0, negative 4. Same equation. Y equals y equals 3/2 x minus 4 with this point, which is your x and your y. So negative 4 equals 3/2 times 0 minus 4. What is 3/2 times 0? 0. So 0 minus 0 is just a minus 0. So does this work? Yes. So this is a yes, this is a no, that was a yes, and that was a yes. Are we okay there?
Yeah. I didn't do it right, so give me a second to try.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Okay. What? I don't like to talk. What are you talking about? Now I am going to give you a paper, and I guess I could do this right now. We're going to do a couple of things. Very good. No problem. Example number 2, really quick. It's just they want you to rewrite. And I don't think there was anything on your assignment like this, or maybe there was, but in the notes there is rewrite as an ordered pair. And this is just, they give you something and they say, hey, X is 7.2, Y is 3.1. So as an ordered pair, how would you write this? 3.1. So what they're trying to say is whether you see it like this or this, it's the same thing. All right, and just one more. Y equals 8, X equals -2. How do you write this one? -2, 8. So make sure you know, hey, this is X, so that one has to go first. So don't get confused, don't get mixed up there. And vice versa. If they give you this, that means X is this and Y is that. So are we okay there? Yes? Now, for example number 3, we're going to go on to this little paper. So example number 3 is going to be this little box, and we're going to plot. Now, what are we going to plot? Let me write them down. So in case you don't know how to graph, this is where we're going to learn how to graph for right now. So for example number 3, plot points. We want you to plot point A, which is at -5, 6. Point B, which is at 4, 3. Point C, which is at 7, -2. Point D, which is at -1, 5. Point E, which is at 2, 0. And that was point E, which I forgot to write. Point F, which is at a 0, 5. So we're going to plot 6 points on this first graph. So I don't know if you want to write them down or if they could stay there while I have this down here. Hopefully this works. Now, so you know this is X, you know this is Y. So you always start in the center. And if you know how to graph, perfect. But if you don't, this is us just going over it. So this X is a -5. So which way do I go? So I go to the left, right? I go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that +6 says I go up or down? Up 6. And there's your dots. So you have about 4 problems where you're going to have to put the dot where it belongs. I'm going to label this point A. Now, just for practice, and I'm going to put it on this side. What quadrant is point A in? I'm going to put Q2. Quadrant 2. Now, point B, start in the center. It's a +4, so I go right or left? Right 4, +3, up or down? Up 3. And I label this A, B. B was in quadrant 1. C, +7, so right or left? Right. And I don't have enough, but 7 would be right there, right? And then I have a -2, which means down 2. It would be about right there. This is point C. And what quadrant is this in? 4. Q4. Quadrant 4. Now, point D, go ahead and graph it wherever you think it goes. Give you about 20 seconds to put it where it belongs. That's point D. Right there. Do we agree? And that is quadrant 2. So point E is at 2, 0. Those are the ones that I'm always afraid that you guys make mistakes. So it's a positive 2, so I go 2 where? To the right. It's a 0, so do I go anywhere? Nope, I stay here. This is E. Now, what quadrant is this in? It's in no quadrant. It's on a axis. It's on the axis. But now, the way the book's going to ask is going to ask on what axis and is it positive or negative? So this is on what axis? X on the what side? Positive. So I'm going to put positive X axis here because that's the way the book usually asks. I've never seen it being asked like that, like if it's positive or negative. I always just see, oh, it's on the X axis. It's on the Y axis. And the last point, point F, 0, 5. 0. I don't go sideways. So that positive 5 just means up 5. So this is point F, and point F is on the positive y-axis. So are we okay with the plotting of the points? Yes? Oh, of course. So far. Good. Now, for this one, this is going to be example number 4. I need for us to look at this, and there's, I think, 10 points on there. And I need for you to tell me where they're found and in what quadrant. So I'm going to turn the page here. Example number 4. I'm going to fold this paper so I can have it there at the same time. You're good. You can have the whole sheet. Be happy. No worries. There it is. Alrighty. So for example number 4, I have points A, B, C, D, E. We'll stop there and then I'll jump over to make another column. So point A. What are the coordinates of point A? Do we agree with 2, 3? Both of them positive? Okay, so it is at 2, 3, and it is in Q1. Perfect. Now point B, which is over here, that one is 0, negative 3. And that right there is on the negative y-axis. Is correct. Point C, negative 2, 1. And that is in quadrant 2. Point D, 5, negative 5. And that is in quadrant 4. E is, I heard both answers. Which one is it? 4, 0. You move to the side, and then you don't go up or down. So that's why it's 4, 0, and that is on the positive x-axis. So I'm gonna, if I spell axis correctly, go ahead and do the other F, G, H, I, and J. I'm going to freeze this and I'm going to put the answers right there. So go ahead and tell me where it's found. So you're going to have a couple that you have to graph, and then you're going to have a couple where you have to say the location of them. So this is what I have. Can you check each one, see that you got it right? If you didn't get it correctly and you don't know what you did wrong, please let me know. Or correct me, because I could be wrong.
Q1 or
Which one? Oh, yes, you're right. So sorry. You see? I have you guys to correct me. My old age is just kicking in. Woo. So are we okay with everything else? Did I do everything else correct? So you guys are right. I'm making mistakes. Believe it or not. All right, so we're good there? Yes? Awesome. Now, for this next section, find 3 points on a graph and graph the line. So they're going to give you an equation. So let's say my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. They want you, now, to graph a line, if you know your slope and your y-intercept, you could do it. That's not the way they do it here yet. Later, you're going to do that. So they want you to find 3 points. How can I find 3 points to put on there? Can I just come up with numbers? Yeah. So let's say we're going to just give me 1 second before I go cray here. So let's just say, yeah, we're going to let x equal to, what should we do? Let's try 0. So if I do 0, y equals 1/2 times 0 plus 3. What's half times 0? 0. 0 plus 3? 3. Correct? Mm-hmm. So my order pair is going to be 0, comma 3. Pick another number that you would like to let x be. Let x be 1. So I have y equals 1/2 times 1 plus 3. What's half times 1? Half. Half plus 3? 3.5, right? So my point is 1, comma 3.5. A recommendation that I could give you when you have fractions. If your denominator is 2, do multiples of 2 so you won't have decimals. So I want to try a 4. Let's just say. Now, can I have negative numbers if I wanted to? Yes, but we'll do that one right now. Half of 4 plus 3. What's half of 4? 2 plus 3? 5? Yes or no? I could be wrong. 2 plus 3, yes. So I have 0.45. Now, if you wanted to, if you pick a negative number, it also works. Let's say I would pick negative 2. What's half of a negative 2? Negative 1 plus 3? 2. So it would be negative 2, comma. You know, it doesn't matter what you pick. Do you want me to write it out just to be safe? Okay. Let x equals a negative 2. So we have y equals 1/2 times negative 2 plus 3. Half of negative 2 is a negative 1 plus 3. And that right there is a 2. So my point would be negative 2, 2. Now, the instructions just had to find 3 points. That's it. You could have picked any 3 numbers. Any 3 numbers for x in order for you to find your y. So here, underneath example 3, I'm going to graph example number 5. And the points are 0, 3, 0, 3 is here. If I do this one is -2, +2. What's the other one? 1. If you do 3 halves, this is it. It's in between the 3 and the 4. You could do halves, you could do anything, honestly. And then we have a +4 and 5. Am I able to draw a straight line through all those 4 points? Yes, and that's your goal. If you did your calculations correctly, you should be able to do that line. Are we okay? Yeah? Perfect. So if I actually drew this line, there it is. Now it's a lot easier on my math lab. You would pick the line and then put at least 2 points and then you should be okay. The last example, which is something we've already done on the graph, but if you did not have a graph, could you? Example number 6. What is the location of the following points? Zero, 6. Where do we find this 0, 6? It's going to be on what axis? Positive and positive what? Y. So it's a positive y-axis. If I have -5, 0, that's going to be on the what? Negative x-axis. If I have 8, 0, positive x-axis. And if I have 0, -1, negative y-axis. Do you see the pattern here? That which number do you have a number for, x or y? The y. So this is why it's on the y-axis. This number is positive. Is this x or y? X. That's why it's at the x-axis. Is this number positive or negative? Negative. Is this number your x or your y? It's my x because it's the first one. Is this one positive or negative? Positive. This is your y, and it's negative. That's why it's a negative y-axis. Now, if by all means you need to sketch it, you can make yourself a little graph, and you could say, hey, this is 0, but I have to go up 6. It's going to be right there. Hey, it's on the y-axis and on the positive. So if you need to sketch it, you do that. Are we okay? This is it for 9.1. So quadrants, how many? 4. How many axes? Which are called x and y. Where the 2 axes intersect, it is called the origin, because it's your original point where you start off at. Yeah, it's so beautiful, right? So not bad. 9.2, graphing lines. I didn't even see what this assignment looked like, I think. But let's do this. I mean, I have the notes based on the book, but I didn't see exactly how it's in my math lab. So first thing is, example 1, given an equation, choose values to make a table. So for the first problem, and you're going to see the difference between one and the other. For the first one, we're going to have problem 3x plus y equals -2. Now, they make a different table here. The table they make says choose a value we're going to put the equation here, 3x plus y equals -2, and we're going to put our answer here. And actually, we're going to number these problem 1 because you're going to graph each one. And I have big graphs right here. And separate sheets, 1. And we're gonna get one.
Thank you.
So when your equation is written in this form where you have x and y on the same side of the equal sign, you could choose whether you want to start off with an x or a y, your choice. Now, one of the ones that is always going to make your life easy, let x be 0, let y be 0. Those are going to be the two easiest ones when you have a problem that looks like this. So let's let x be 0. That means I plug in a 0 for x. So I have 3 times 0 plus y equals -2. So then y is what? -2. So what's my point here? My order pair is going to be 0, -2. Boom. We're done with 1. Now, the other one would be y equals to 0. 3x plus 0 equals a -2. So we're always going to plug it into the original equation that's in the top of the table. This 3x plus 0 is just what? 3x equals -2. So how do you solve for divide by 3? And I get that x is a -2/3. So this point is going to be -2/3, comma 0, because this is your x and this is your y. Yes? Yes, talk to me.
No,
Oh,
I'm sure you're about to break it down. What
break what down?
fraction?
No,
Does it turn into a decimal?
it's a decimal, but what is -2/3? Does anybody know? It's a -0.6667, comma 0. So when you are graphing this, it's 2/3. So cut that one into 3 pieces and you guesstimate. But I wouldn't graph that one because it's an ugly number, definitely, But 0, having 0 for both x and y, sometimes you're hoping for the best. Now, is there another number you would like to try?
2.
2? For who? X or y? For x. x is equal to 2. So 3 times 2 plus y equals a -2. So what's 3 times 2? 6 plus y equals a -2. What do I do with that 6? You're solving for y, so I have to subtract. Very good. Subtract 6. So y is -8. So my new point's going to be 2, -8. So how many points do you need to graph any line? 2 to 3. Honestly, all you need, if it's a straight line, all you need is 2. Here, they keep asking us to find 3, just so you could practice a little bit more. So getting your graphing paper. So I've already numbered them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only have 7 to graph, but I would graph these 2 points first. 0, -2. 0, -2 is here. And 2, -8. +2. -8 is here. Oh, gosh, right there. So this is 0, -2. And this is 2, -8. Now, the other point that was a decimal is negative. So you see how this is a 1? If you divide it into like 3 equal parts, my point would be there. So it's like a guesstimation. Now, the point is there going to be a straight line through there?
No.
Girl, yes, there is.
How?
It's
Might not
straight.
be
Like-
too straight without a ruler, but it's gonna be.
Oh,
straight.
it's gonna be pretty straight, guys. Believe me.
Oh, okay. Because I was the other points.
Oh,
threw me
no.
off. That's what I was like.
No,
oh.
not throwing off. It's like, what?
Okay, we went straight.
There. So you have an extra paper. You know, it's not perfect. Forgive me for not being perfect, but you have an extra piece of paper to draw your line. Oh.
Why is it that we want to know that it makes a straight line?
Well, it's because you are graphing a line. So by you actually graphing them and drawing the line, it's going to tell you, because if you can't draw a straight line, that means you plotted it wrong. So you go back and you check, like if this one I would have put on somewhere else, like I would have graphed that one, and then that one over here, I would have been like, oh, I can't draw a straight line through all 3. So this is why they actually asked for 3, because if one of them, if you only have 2, there's no way you can know if your points are incorrect or not. But my friend over here says I can't draw a straight line.
No, I didn't say you couldn't. I just saying.
Oh, you can't.
I can draw.
Problem number 2. 2x minus y is equal to 4. So I'm going to make the same type of table where you choose a value. Where I'm putting my equation, 2x minus 1 is equal to 4. And where I'm going to put my order pair. Now, I want to let you choose what you want to do. Like, pick the numbers.
4.
Do it. Whatever makes you happy.
Order them
We just-
ourselves.
You choose one number, whether it's X or Y, solve it, choose. Now, don't just pick XXX. You know, pick a Y in there just so you can practice with the Y. Now, I'm trying to look at the assignment on my phone just really quick. Can't on the computer because it's recording.
We decided the number. Oh, you
Sorry?
can pick our own number.
Pick your own number.
Okay.
Pick your own number. So you won't feel like, oh my God, Miss Van didn't tell me which numbers to pick. She's such an evil lady.
We're picking 3.
Yes. So try to pick 2 X's and 1 Y, or 2 Y's and 1 X, at least one of each. What? Doesn't let me log in.
Yeah, this one.
Here it is.
That's all it is.
Okay, I wasn't too sure, but I did look at the assignment.
How many times you want to do it?
At least 3, because remember, you always look for 3 points just to make sure they are on the straight line. Yeah, so actually, that's how you're doing, just graphing. I did look at the assignment. Okay, perfect. Just making sure. I'm gonna choose my own numbers. Our lines should still look the same, even though you pick different numbers for me. Our lines are gonna look the same because all these points are on the same line.
Oh, shit. I need two different numbers.
Did you?
Yes.
You picked the 4, and then that was a negative 12? Is that what happened? No?
Oh, no, I did. I think that's the 10 on my last one.
Oh, okay. You got a little too happy there. Yes, try to keep it with, not big numbers, because then they're going to go off. I would stay in between a negative 5 and 5.
You say it doesn't matter what number we pick, we'll have a straight line.
Yeah, if you did it correctly, yes. So which number did you have a question? No. Oh, okay. Which number did you
I
pick? So-
did X2, Y2, and X4.
Okay, let me try y2. So I have 2x minus 2 equals to 4. Did you add 2? I got 2x is equal to 6, so x is 3. And your point is 3, comma 2? Correct. Okay. And what was the other one?
4. X is 4 equals 4.
X is 4. 2 times 4 minus y equals to 4. 8 minus y equals to 4. We subtract 8. Negative y equals a negative 4. So y is a positive 4. Did you get a positive 4?
Yes.
So we have 4, comma 4. Okay.
Oh,
So I have my 3 points. I know you have one that's different, but let's just graph this. Okay, sorry. So if you picked a 1 or 3, a negative something, our graphs should still look the same. What happened? You find your
So that
mistake?
negative Y, so well,
So
This
when-
one?
Yeah, that's I'm confused. If it's negative y equals 4,
You still have to
You gotta
divide
do
by
that.
a negative 1 on both sides
so you
because
can't have a negative.
you're looking for a positive y. Yeah. So the same thing here. I divided by a negative 1, divided by a negative 1, and that's how I got a negative 4. Okay, so that may be where we made mistakes. So I'm going to graph 0, negative 4. 0, negative 4 is there. 3, positive 2 is here. And 4, positive 4, is there. Can I draw a straight line between those 3 points? Yeah. Even though people want to say
so we're
no.
just picking numbers and putting them in?
Yeah, you're just picking numbers this time. Right here, we're just playing around with numbers, picking different numbers. Did somebody else pick like a 0 for which one?
X.
For X? I did a 0 for X. Did somebody else pick something else that's not here? Just so I could go and see. Did somebody else get a different point? 5. So when it's 5, what was your y? 6. So 5, 6. Is it on the line? Oops, sorry. 5, 6. Is it on the line? Yes, it is. Somebody else get like a 1 or a 3. Pick a different number.
No.
Yeah, you for x equals 3, and you got a 2. So you did it the other way around. We did the y, you did the x, but we still got the same point. Did anybody try a negative number?
No.
No?
Nobody.
Who? No? What did you? Which? -5. And with -5, you got a negative what?
I got a -6, but I don't know if that is right.
Okay, so you got for x a -5. So it would have been 2 times -5 minus y equals to 4. That's a -10.
See, that's what I did earlier.
And then that -10, I'm supposed to add it. So I get -10 equals to a positive 14. But then you were supposed to divide. So y should have been a -14. So this point, -5, -14. It would have been -5, -14. So it would have been off, but if we would have stretched this, it would have been down here. But let's be careful. Yeah.
Can you do y is for 4? Because I got a fraction.
Okay, for 4? Yes, I can. I'm going to do it here on the side, just so I don't. So we have 2x minus 4 equals to 4. So if I'm solving for x, I have to add 4. And when I add 4, I have 2x is equal to 8. Divide by 2, so x is a positive 4. So,
Is that negative?
yes, be careful with those negatives right there. Now, if you would have picked a -4, then that would have become a positive, and it's a complete different story.
So if you're looking for a positive number, then what you did down there, you divided each side by a negative.
A -1. So if your y is negative, we need to make sure and we divide by a -1 to make it into a positive. Yes, yes, yes. So are we okay there? No?
No, because mine is not coming out of the line, it's coming out of the triangle. And I've redone it so many times. Now it's a line.
Now it's a line.
Of course. It worked. Her triangle became a line. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Are we good? Now, once again, how are these two equations written? We have xy equals to a number, right? Yes? Now, the next ones are going to be different. Over there, just gave me some little sass.
It's not sass.
Okay. Linear equations
No.
of the form. The other ones are linear also, but this one's in the form of y equals mx plus b. Now, we're not going to graph them still based on the slope and the y-intercept. We are not. You need to get comfortable with those tables first. And then we're going to come back and we're going to see like, oh, piece of cake. When they give them to you in this form, you don't choose a value. Your values are always going to be x's. It's not, let's try a y. Your values are always going to be x's. So let's try the third one here. And the equation is going to be y equals 2x plus 1. When you make the table for this one, we're going to have x. It's not going to say choose a value. We're going to have the equation. and we're going to have our order pair. So you have the liberty of picking whatever X value you want here. So what do you want to pick? I heard 1, I heard 3, so we're going to try those 2. And I always told you to choose which one? 0.
No.
0 is always going to make it easy. So I'm going to start with 0, then do 1, then 3. Okay? So let's do 0. Y equals 2 times 0 plus 1. Well, what's 2 times 0, guys?
0.
So y is 1. So my answer is 0, 1. Now the next number I heard was a
3.
1.
Oh, I thought you were.
Well, I'm going to do 3, but I'm doing them in order.
Yay.
2 times 1 plus 1. What's 2 times 1?
2.
Plus 1.
3.
So y is 3. My point is 1 comma 3. Then I heard a 3. Y equals 2 times 3 plus 1. What's 2 times 3?
6.
Plus the 1?
7.
7. So my order pair is 3 comma 7. And of course, Miss Peña would do the one with positive numbers with you because she wants you to torture you when there's a minus and a negative in there and ha ha ha. Anyhow, so whatever. I'm crazy. Number 3. Let's graph the third one here. So I have points 0, 1. There it is. I have the point 1, 3. And I have point 3, 7.
It's me.
Straight line?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, I'm going straight.
As straight as possible, right? There it is.
That's the job, dude.
Now, did anybody else go on their own and they picked another number? You did so. People stay within a negative
So
5 and
sorry.
5. Now, I'm just going to throw it out there. If I would have done a negative 2, because you guys are afraid to use negative numbers sometimes. Y equals 2 times the negative 2 plus 1. What's 2 times the negative 2?
Negative 4.
Negative 4 plus 1.
4.
Negative 4 plus 1.
3.
Oh.
Negative 3. So I have a negative 2, negative 3.
Oops.
So my question is a negative 2, negative 3, would it have been on the line?
Yes.
Yes. So once again, whether you pick positive or negative numbers, but if you pick too big of a number, it's going to, like, even if I would have picked the 4, it would have already been off my graph.
Oh,
So don't go crazy in choosing big numbers. Are you ready to try one on your own? Of course you are. You were born ready, right? Let me make the table for you already. It's x, y equals a negative 2x plus 3. And then give me your order pair. So always start off with a 0.
He wants to do 3.
3 points, yes. I'm hoping at least you do that. Everybody has a 0 in common. Everybody should have that 1 point in common.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm?
I hope these rain.
Trying to triangle.
Yeah.
Okay, Caitlin, give me your numbers. What else did you pick? What number did you pick for x?
2.
2. Okay, so y equals negative 2 times 2 plus 3.
Oh, that's the neck. Oh.
Y equals negative 4 plus 3. And what's negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1. Beautiful. That's points correct. 2, negative 1. What else did you pick?
I picked negative,
Negative 1. You were brave, then you picked a negative 1.
and it gave me a triangle.
Okay.
Oh.
Y equals negative 2 times the negative 1 plus 3.
Oh, never mind. I just did my math wrong.
There you go. So a negative times a negative becomes a positive. 2 plus 3 is a 5. So I have a negative 1 comma 5. So once again, if you pick different numbers, they should still be in my line after I graph this. Any questions on this right now?
So,
Yes, ma'am.
all of mine was a positive 2.
You did.
Like, negative 2x plus 3. I just did 2x plus 3.
Oh, you didn't do a negative.
Just to see if I.
If you did it right, because I heard you were very happy. I got it, and then they're in a straight line, but she did it. I'll check it right now. Bring it. So 0, 3, 2, negative 1, and a negative 1, positive 5. Where is it? Right here. So it would have been positive 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Yeah, that's right.
I did it.
Yes, you did it right. It's just you got it, but with the wrong equation. Yes, definitely. You did, and I heard you say, I got it. All right. You did it right. You did it right. All righty. Are we good? Yes? Everybody else got a straight line? Nobody else got a triangle? Or are y'all still getting triangles?
Oh, you know what? I think that's Thank you.
Hmm.
The top point that's negative.
This one?
5.
Negative 1, 5. Mm-hmm.
I just felt all the-
Yes.
Okay. A minute.
Because yours is a different one.
No. Oh, yes, that's what happened.
But
I
so
didn't use 4.
so when you use 4, what did you get?
4, negative 3.
4, negative 3? Are you sure it's not a negative 5? It should have been a negative 5. So let me just use that 4. So if x is 4, y equals negative 2 times 4 plus 3. What's negative 2 times 4? Negative 8. Negative 8 plus 3 is a negative 5. So we just need to be very careful with those negative and positive numbers.
No, I added that.
But we see it's -5, right? Okay. So just like right now that she told me I got 4, -3, I'm like, that's not on my line. So right away that tells me that's not a correct point. It should have been 0, -5 because it would have been right there. Alrighty. So how do you feel?
Good.
Awesome, of course. Marvelous. What happens?
Oh, Lord.
Oh my gosh.
You
Nah.
ain't never.
What number are we on? 5? X, y equals 3x, and give me your point.
Let's just find out today.
It's a beautiful day for you to graph some lines.
So it's D. I think it's
Already
D.
got a triangle.
Oh my god.
Well, what? Alright, just try. Can we start off with 0 with this one?
Yes. You start off with 0 all the time.
Alright, cool.
0. Y equals 3 times 0, which is
0.
0, 0. Beautiful.
Thought so. Next.
Next.
Let's go with 1.
I'm going to try a -2 because nobody loves. Oh, how's
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
I'm like,
Look
nobody
at
loves
you.
my negative numbers.
I hate them.
I'm trying to be a
That's what I
sucker. Look at you. No.
This 1 times 3. Oh, Lord.
I'm going to choose a 1.
3. Oh, I did the same thing. Wow. 0. Is it only 0? Oh, no. Oh, that makes sense because that's the X. Duh.
Turn your paper over. What happened?
I thought we were done.
What? No. We still need 3 more graphs after this one. There was 8. My
3
goodness.
times 2.
-2, -6, 0, 0, and 1, 3.
God is good.
So can I draw a straight line through those 3? Yes. Okay, let's do one with a fraction.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I knew that was coming.
So once again, when you have problems with a fraction, give me a pretty fraction, not too crazy.
Half.
Not half. We already did a half earlier.
That's a pretty one.
3/4.
That's what I was
2/6.
3/4. Why not? 3/4 plus or minus number. -1. Why not? Let's see what this gives us. I have no idea. We just made up this problem. Now, for sure, you need to try, and there should be an X here. I ate the X. It's a 3/4 X minus 1. For sure, you let X be who? 0, especially when you have those fractions, because that's going to give you an easy one. So y equals 3/4 times 0 minus 1. Y equals 0 minus 1, which is a -1. So there's 1 point. 0, -1. Not bad. Now, remember I told you, you look at your denominators and you use multiples of that number. So because my denominators are 4, let's use a 4 or an 8 or a -4 and a -8. That's the only way you're going to stay away from having fractions or decimals. You have to use 4, 8, 12, -4, -8, -12. If my denominator were 5, I would use 5, 10, 15, -5, -10, -15. Are we okay there? So we have y equals 3/4 times 4 over 1 minus 1. What is 3/4 minus times 4? This is a 3 minus 1, which is a 2. So I have a 4, 2. Which number do you want to use next?
-2.
You cannot use a -2.
-4.
Not even a positive.
Eight.
Remember, who's your denominator?
8.
4. So you could use a 4, 8, -4, or 8.
Oh,
-4.
-4. Okay.
-4.
Let's try a -4. Okay. So 3/4 times a -4 minus 1. So what is 3/4 times a -4? -3 minus 1 is a -4.
Oh, you know what? Wait, but how do you know it's -3?
Yeah, that's 4 times 3
So-
12.
4
we don't know
times -4 times 3 is -12. -12 divided by 4 is this.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh,
The -4 over 1.
yes. Put the -4 over 1. Now, just for you to see why an 8 would be pretty also, 8. Y equals 3/4 times 8 over 1 minus 1. What is 3 times 8? What's 3 times 8? 24 divided by 4? 6. 6 minus 1? 5. So if you would have used a half or a 2, you would have ended up with a fraction. So this is why I'm trying to stay away from fractions and telling you which numbers you have to use. Yes, hopefully.
So it's
Yes, it's a straight line.
So
you
it's
multiply the numerator and then divide the 8 by the 4 and then subtract it by the
so when you have 3/4 times 8 over 1, numerator times numerator, denominator by denominator, reduce.
Oh, okay.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay. Now, those points, 0, -1, -4, -4, +4, 2, and then we ended up doing 5. Nope, I did something wrong. It was the other way around, sorry. It was 8, 5. I was like, whoa. And there's no room for no 8, 5, but there it is. 3 points, straight line. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're not graphing this, but let's say you had this problem. What values would you use for x? 0, and then 7, and then 14, or -14 and -7.
What numbers?
If I have y equals 3/5 minus 2, and I don't know why I keep forgetting that crazy x. Oh my God. Y equals 3/5 x minus 2. Who am I going to use for x?
0,
0,
-5.
5, -5, 10, and -10. That's what you're going to use. For this one, it was 0, 7, 14, -7, -14. Because of your denominator. So that way you won't end up with fractions. Because when I use a 7, what's 4 times 7? 28 divided by 7? -4. So this is the only way you're going to stay away from fractions with those ones. All right, the last two are easy. And I'm going to do it without a table. No, I'll have to do it with a table. No, with, I don't know. Darn it, I'm going crazy. All right, so this is your problem. Y equals a -3. What type of line is this going to be? Do you know? There's no x.
Okay.
You did that purposely this time?
Oh, this purposely, yes. There is no x. So x, 0x plus y equals 2a, negative 3, xy. So what do you want to let x be? A 0? 0 times 0 plus y equals negative 3. So y is a 0, negative 3. What else? 3. 0 times 3 plus y equals a negative 3. What's 0 times 3? So y is still a negative 3. Give me one more.
It's 5.
5. 0 times 5 plus y equals a negative 3, but 0 times 5 is a?
0.
So y again is a?
Negative 3. Oh,
So when I graph this in number 7, 0, negative 3, bam. 3, negative 3, bam. 5, negative 3, point. What type of line do we have? It's a straight line, but what type of line? Because all lines are straight. It's all good. It is a horizontal line. Very good. So this is a horizontal line because it is y negative 3 horizontal line. And the horizontal line goes to where y is at what? What's the value of y here?
negative 3.
What's the value of y here?
Negative 3.
So everywhere on this line, the value of y is what?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, right? So without a table, if I were to tell you to graph number 8, and can you please graph x is equal to 2, what type of line do you think this is going to be? If it's not horizontal, it is a
Vertical.
vertical line. And where do you think that vertical line goes? On the 2 for who? This is the 2 for x, right? So there is a line going
Oh, there. Wow, just straight in.
straight down. It's a vertical line. That's how it is. You're going to have one of each on your assignment. So 0.23 is on it, 0.2 negative 4, 0.25, 0.21, 0.20, 0.2 negative 7. All those points are on there. X is always 1. X is always going to be what?
Vertical.
Oh,
But what's
Up and down. Vertical. She said it.
but your X value here is always what?
2.
2. Thank you. So if I were just to tell you really quick, can you please graph y is equal to 1 back in number 7? You go to your y-axis and you look for who?
1.
And draw what kind of line?
Horizontal.
straight across.
Horizontal.
If number 8, I asked you, so here's 1. There it is. If I ask you, hey, can you draw a line on x is equal to 0? Where?
Straight on the axis.
On the,
Whatever it's called.
right there, right? Yeah, you're good. Alrighty, that's it. So, see you Monday. Make sure you're here Monday. 9/1, 9/2. It is due on 11/27 while you're on your break. I know you're still coming to school, right?
Yeah, no break.
What is a break?